On this beautiful stretch of the Hudson River, just north of New York City, is the headquarters of the Sisters of Charity. An activist, some might say feisty group of nuns, they've made the radical decision not to accept any more vocations.
We felt that all along the way we said, nobody's entering, nobody's entering, nobody's entering. So, you know, like, what are we thinking? I mean, that's the writing on the wall.
There are only 123 sisters left, and the average age is 86. And when the order formally closes, or comes to fulfilment, as they like to call it, they will hand over all their charities and their mission to the church community, the laity.
We need to think about, what does this future look like when the sisters are not physically present with us?
I don't feel like it's ever going to end. Their spirit is so strong.
They call this final mission Holy Trouble, to focus on what they have always focused on, the most vulnerable in society. They've publicly supported Pope Leo in his stoush with President Trump, and they're redoubling their efforts to give immigrants and their children a voice.
Jesus says very clearly, at the end of the world, we're going to be asked, you know, how did you receive the foreigner?
I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person.
Horrendous, dictatorial, cruel.
Somebody say good trouble.
It's important for me to be here because I want to stand up against the abuse of human rights.
As a Catholic and a feminist, there is no better place for me to go for spirituality than the Sisters of Charity.
It's going to be hard. I can't say it's not going to. And the fewer of us that there are, the more work to be done and the more prayers to be done and the more speaking out we'll have to do. But hopefully we'll do it. We'll do it together and we'll do it joyfully.
The Sisters of Charity moved to this 75-acre estate known as Mount St. Vincent in 1857.
Okay, everybody hold on.
The president of the order is Sister Donna Dodge. The campus is so big, she likes to traverse it in a golf buggy.
I'll take you on the whole tour, okay? From the beginning, okay? Just so you get a sense, whether you want it or not. We're coming to a house that I've lived in for 40 years.
Sister Donna first came here in 1966, straight from high school. It's been her home for most of her life.
This is one of the nicest houses on campus. This was the first one built. So this that we're going to pass is our convent. Sister Dorothy Metz is a past president, and she taught me everything I know. The film crew from Australia. Yeah, you read about it, yeah? Yeah.
Good.
So maybe you'll be in it.
You have a good tour guide.
Okay, take care. This is where the connection is to the university, and all the rest from here on in is university used.
Just up the road is LeGras Hall, the head office where some of the sisters work. Sister Eileen McGrory likes to dance her way to her desk. Even though her job is to write the obituaries, it doesn't make her sad. The Sisters of Charity in New York was founded by Elizabeth Ann Seton in 1817, the first American-born saint. They arrived in Manhattan to look after orphan children living in the slums, beset by poverty and disease. Over the next decades, they became politicised by their experiences, moving from direct service to questioning the systems and laws oppressing the vulnerable. In recent times, the sisters have joined more public rallies and protests against President Trump. Last year, they joined thousands of Americans in the No Kings demonstrations. Over the years, the sisters have gathered a large archive of the more significant moments in their journey. The leadership team is watching some of it today.
What was wonderful was the fact that we met so many people who had been to one of our schools or to the university, or was a nurse from St. Vincent's and so forth. So it was really a grand reunion of sorts each time we went to those demonstrations.
It was so intergenerational that it was very, very clear that it's not just one group who is upholding democracy and liberty.
But the sisters have been taking part in demonstrations for decades. The first time was in 1965 in Harlem. They joined thousands of others in support of the civil rights of Black Americans who'd been prevented from exercising their full entitlements to vote.
Margaret, weren't you part of this march?
I don't see me, but I remember arriving and I remember saying, what do I do now? I wasn't sure whether we were supposed to be smiling or serious. You know, it was just almost a fear.
And if I remember correctly, there had been a lot of violence in Harlem at this time, so that there were a lot of white people who were afraid to go there. And now here we are saying, we're standing with you.
I have never in all my life been so proud of Harlem as I am tonight. People said, oh, don't do it, because if you get that many black and white people marching in Harlem, you'll have a fight. There'll be a race riot. I told them nonsense. This is the real Harlem.
John Lewis always said that there was good trouble. We took that a step further and said that there is holy trouble, and that one form of holy trouble is protesting, which is holy work.
Our usual mode was, to be quiet in the background. But this was probably one of the first times that we demonstrated in this way.
This picture was published the next day in several newspapers.
The children came back to school on Monday morning and said, look, I see you.
Then came the huge protests against the Vietnam War, where the sisters were arrested for the first time.
7 nuns arrested in anti-war protest inside St. Patrick's. And why were we protesting? It was because the Archbishop was in charge of the military chaplains, and we didn't feel that they were speaking out enough.
7 sisters lay flat on the floor of the cathedral. They were dragged out by the police.
Well, I was there that day, but I was not inside to be arrested. The scary cats among us, we stayed outside to protest.
I just admired their courage greatly.
Look at that, the picture now, the AIDS epidemic.
When the AIDS crisis arrived, the sisters had to contend with people's fear and prejudice about this new disease.
I think the nurse on the right in that picture is a student nurse. One gentleman was saying that it was terrible. He did not want his daughter exposed to this, and she should not be included in anybody that was put on these wards. Sister Kevin's response was, well, you can pick her up and take her home. She didn't leave. The girl wanted to stay. But that's the kind of thing they faced.
The Sisters of Charity in Australia and America were on the front lines helping people with AIDS. Here in New York, they work tirelessly at their main hospital, St. Vincent's. Today, just across the street, stands this memorial to all those who died.
This is the newest tragedy for our country. Delaney Hall, the detention in Newark, where many people are not allowed to go in to see the conditions.
Delaney Hall Detention Centre at Newark, New Jersey, is only a short drive from the sisters in the Bronx. On a recent visit there, President Donna Dodge joined other protesters and families to lay flowers.
When I was there, we put flowers down in front of the driveway, and then the trucks would just roll over them, but that's what you thought was going to happen. They weren't going to come and take the flowers off, but...
Sister Donna formed a prayer circle with others out the front, knowing the detainees could hear them. Inside, more than 800 immigrants are waiting to find out their fate. Many have been separated from their children. Families have stuck posters of their loved ones on the telegraph poles outside. Often joining the Sisters of Charity at protests is attorney Barbara Burke.
He has sent me to proclaim freedom for prisoners, to set the oppressed free.
Barbara volunteers with the sisters and visits detainees inside the detention centre.
We prayed, we gave out toys, we gave out water, and it was a full day. And it was simply presence.
Barbara has been trying to help 18-year-old Kayleen Castro-Canner. She was arrested by ICE, walking to high school, and then deported to Guatemala. Unable to stop her deportation, Barbara gave her a special statue to take with her.
And I'm hoping that that statue that now is in Guatemala with this young woman, that she has that message, that somewhere, someone in New York, this lawyer remembers her.
Not far from the entrance is an interfaith tent, a base for the nuns, priests and activists from all over New Jersey.
And we're praying here today for our immigrant brothers and sisters in detention and their loved ones that they are separated from on the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Father G.
Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día. Perdona nuestras ofensas.
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
In the past few years, more than 73 people have died after being detained by ICE in one of their facilities. Sister Francois is from the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace.
I am a Catholic sister. I am here in resistance to what I think is the unjust, unconstitutional, inhumane treatment of our brothers and sisters. But I don't consider it protest. I consider it active resistance, hospitality, and mutual aid.
Sister Francois says human rights abuses are being perpetrated here on a daily basis, including a man held in solitary confinement for 5 months.
He was in solitary because he needed crutches to walk, and that was considered to be a weapon. Someone who had stage 4 lung cancer, terminal illness, wanted to go home and die. So there are people who have been held here without due process, and then they're getting not the medical treatment that they need. I think the cruelty, I don't know why, other than the fact that it's to break their spirits. There's no explanation for it. It's evil.
Shut this fascist system down! Shut this fascist system down! Shut this racist system down! Shut this racist system down!
On the day Sister Donna visited Delaney Hall Detention Centre, supporters of ICE turned up, leading to ugly scenes.
Take them all to your house!
I'm sick and tired of watching these Democrats try to start another civil war in this country.
But if you want to immigrate here, there's a right way to do it. Just coming across the border and receiving benefits over people who came here the right way is not immigration, that's an invasion.
People who are going through the legal processes, taking at their routine immigration hearings, who have jobs and families.
What took them 20 years? How many years do they need? How many years?
I think the thing that got me the most was they had pickup trucks with big flags flying, and they were beeping their horns and celebrating the fact that people had been shot by ICE in Minnesota.
We're just running away from the gas. I have done nothing wrong!
I just found it not only scary, but I just wondered, how do you dialogue with people who have so much hate for the other?
What do you say to people like Christian nationalists who say these people are illegal, they've broken the law? Why don't we take people who are waiting in refugee camps instead?
I think I'd urge them to think of themselves in those positions. I mean, like, why wasn't I born in Palestine? Or why weren't you born in Outer Mongolia or something? I mean, we didn't earn our place in Australia or the United States. We didn't do anything to earn that kind of thing, and neither did the people who were in countries where their lives are in danger, you know? So put yourself in that position and just thank God for what you do have, and then be compassionate for those who don't.
Jesus says very clearly, at the end of the world, we're going to be asked, you know, how did you receive the foreigner? Did you receive him and welcome him or not? And I think that there's a deep reflection that needs to be made in terms of what's happening.
Pope Leo said things that are wrong. I think he's very weak on crime. Many criminals were allowed into our country, but we've gotten a lot of them out. We've done a great job on crime.
How would you describe the Trump administration at the moment?
Horrendous, dictatorial, cruel, only wanting power and money. I mean, we have so many signs of that, and that's all against the gospel as far as I'm concerned. I'm not judging him, but I have the biggest problem with the Christians and people of other faith in Congress who are not standing up to what they should know is the right thing because of fear.
But many Catholics support President Trump. Millions voted for him in the last election. Sister Donna believes they were swayed by his policies on abortion.
The gospel isn't one issue, you know? The right to life from conception to death. Now, they only want to look up from conception, but they don't care about death or death penalty or gun violence. It gets worse and worse. I don't think there's anything he could do that would surprise me. Nothing. He had said once that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight and still be elected. And I think he's right.
The community of the Bronx is close to the sisters' hearts. It's where many of the nuns grew up before joining the Sisters of Charity, and it is where they have decided to spend their last days. The sisters who need maximum care live here, on the 9th floor of the Cathay nursing home. Despite their wealth, they live simply amongst the people they have cared for decades. Sister Mary Kay is 87 years old.
We didn't get your name.
And still sharp as a tack.
Where will the documentary be?
It will be on ABC TV.
Their small community was the focus of a special feature in the New York Times by photojournalist Michelle Agins.
Well, my favorite pictures of Sister Kay during Holy Week.
And do you remember your first day meeting Sister Kay and the others?
Sister Kay, yes. And she was, you know, looking at me with the eyes of, don't tell no stories.
Did they check you out?
They checked me out. All the sisters were around me. And they said, all right, tell us about yourself right now.
Michelle is a Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer. She grew up on the south side of Chicago and was headhunted by the Times to cover everything from politics to sport. She followed the sisters for many months and lived at the home for a week.
We traded religions because I'm a Buddhist. And so Sister Kay, she said, tell me about Buddhism. I said, tell me about Catholicism. They talk a little bit about heaven, but mostly about life, about the food, about the Yankees versus the Mets. They actually have rivalries, you know.
Even these, the oldest of the sisters, have not lost their interest in politics, especially the treatment of asylum seekers. When they can't join protests outside, they stage ones inside.
And I loved it, you know. They like good trouble.
They call it holy trouble, right?
Holy trouble. But they said, this is good trouble. Their spirit is so strong. If you're around those women any amount of time, you don't ever want it to end. That's it.
The sisters have discovered there are many ways to protest, including through the use of social media. Their posts go viral, attracting thousands of young people from diverse backgrounds. Some are political, some just pure fun. Back at Mount St. Vincent, Sister Donna and her leadership team are preparing to give this entire place to the university, a home they love and have lived in for so many years. Since becoming president, Sister Donna has watched 94 of her fellow sisters die.
The fewer the numbers, the more we know each sister. And so it's hard to watch people go to God. You miss them, you know they're in a better place, and that makes the difference. That if you don't have faith, then it has to be really hard.
It's been 25 years since anybody has asked to join the order.
You know, is it fair for anybody that came now to come to an order where they would be living with their grandmother? Not that that's bad, but it's not a healthy kind of thing. And would we even have anybody to walk with them on the journey for formation to become a sister?
Why do you think there hasn't been any more vocations in the last 25 years?
I think women in general have more options, and the women that are coming to congregations seem to be coming to one that have a little bit more of a conservative bend, that they wear a habit.
The steep decline in vocations is happening across the world, including here in Australia. The Sisters of Charity New York is one of the first large established orders to decide to close. At stake is millions of dollars in property and charities, from social housing apartment blocks in Manhattan to a farm producing tons of food for the needy. The responsibility will be transferred to the lay people who currently run those organisations.
So what are you all doing this summer?
At the university, Dr. Susan Burns is one of those who will take over.
They understand that the assets they have are priceless, really quite honestly priceless, and don't put a dollar amount on it because they understand that the work we do on this beautiful campus is worth so much more than what they could get by selling any part of their property.
The sisters help fund $40 million a year in aid for the students here, many on generous scholarships.
The Sisters of Charity, in all that they do, in all of their ministries, really ask the questions, who has not been served well, and how can we walk with them to respect their human dignity?
The CEOs, they do far more than I could have asked or imagined in terms of living the values that we have tried to espouse. Just hope that we can find a way of sustaining that into the far distant future.
In the past few weeks, there have been more deaths in ICE custody. With the midterm elections due in November, the numbers of arrests and deportations have increased. It's prompted an anti-ICE rally in New York City. Barbara Burke is here with Sister Kathleen Burns.
This is John Lewis, and he's always saying, get into good trouble. And this is Elizabeth Seton, and our holy trouble is gospel-rooted, just like Pope Leo.
I come here to stand in solidarity with our sisters and brothers who are being held in detention centers. It's what our faith calls us to do.
Barbara carries a poster in support of Kayleen, who was deported to Guatemala.
So that Kayleen knows that there are people who remember her and who want to try to help her, and that we're not going to give up the fight for her.
Tell everybody in the world that it's time to stop agonizing and begin organizing, you know?
It's important for me to be here because I want to stand up against the abuse of human rights, the abuse of people who might not be able to vote, and all of that is in process now, and it doesn't look too good. I think if we keep protesting, at least you feel like you're doing something.
As Sister Donna finished up her tour on the golf buggy, I wondered how she felt about leaving this place.
Sure, it's a great legacy. I don't know how it's going to play out. The property is under a land trust, so it'll still be used for good purposes when we're no longer here. I think we were lucky that God gave us this place to live here so many years. You know, there's a saying, I think it's Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. We've been very, very fortunate.
And every Sunday, the 49 sisters left in the convent attend Mass, as they have always done for the past decades. The day is fast approaching when the last of the sisters will be gone. They'll be buried here under the oak trees, just like the many sisters before them, as far back as the American Civil War.
It's going to be hard. But we're not meant to live forever, you know, and if people are living a good life, if you believe in God, and if you believe in an afterlife, then it's inevitable. You'll lose the person, but they've gained something. You recognize your grief, continue to miss them, and have some part of them live on in your own heart.
We're living in such interesting times where we can have a trillionaire and we can have people who do not have food, safety, security. It's a reason why we need to ask the question of what are we doing individually and collectively to care for those who may not be seen.
The Sisters of Charity have served those who are forgotten by others. They have walked into hospitals and served those who won't be taken care of by others. They have served in schools, and I see myself right now doing the work that they've done here in New York for 200 years.